What was the verse you said? Exodus,
Oh,
Shemot 16.
Shemot 16, chapter 16, verse. Let's see. Let me get this up. Verse 15. What's going on? Shemot 16.
Manna.
Okay, verse 15. And let's get this in the Hebrew. Interlinear. Okay, Isaac's putting a tripod up. He heard you.
Thank you, Isaac.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so do you remember the story? And it says, this is a story about when the manna first came down from the heavens, right? They were wondering what the people were wondering. What are we going to eat? You know what I mean? Man, there's no McDonald's around this place. So let's grumble to God, man. Maybe he can make an In-N-Out burger appear or something. And so God did. He allowed this white flaky powder to fall on the ground. Okay. So when the Hebrews saw it the next day, verse 15, when Vayiru bene Yisrael Vayomeru ish el ahi. So when the sons of Israel saw it, they said to one another, and here's the key, man who. Now, when you look at the Strong's number, man who is 4478, okay, and the Strong's takes that word man, and it says, oh, this is the word manna. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, that's not correct. Okay, the question is, what they're saying, what is it? And they're saying, and man, the word man is not what in Hebrew. The word what is ma, M-A-H. In fact, if you read a little bit down the passage, it actually says, what is it? For they did not know what it was. And there it is, what it was, mahu. So mahu is what is it? But they also have the same translation in English for manhu. And that cannot be the case because the word ma is the Hebrew word for what. So the question is, what does man mean? And if they're translating it, man is what, then we've got a problem here. Okay. Now, the word who that follows it, this is a Strong's number 1931, is a pronoun, third person singular. Okay, who. Now, it can either be defined as he, she, or it. Okay, so obviously when they say what is it, who is they're using the neutral term it, and that's fair. But when you go back to man is not a interrogative, and an interrogative is a question. Okay, man. Now this is, I give credit to my friend Luis Perez because his professor at Hebrew University did a study on this passage and said man is an old Hebrew word that means who. It means who. And so if you go back to the passage and read it this way, when the sons of Israel saw it, they said to one another, here's the word man, and it's supposed to be who is. Now, when you say who is, it cannot be it. It has to be a he or she. It's actually the word he. That pronoun turns from it to he. And so now you're asked, the Hebrew, the sons of Israel are asking the question, who is he? Now, step back and think about this. This is the first time they're seeing this white frosty food substance. They call it food for the angels. Okay.
Bread of the
and
mighty.
who was presenting the food to them? Nobody else, none other than Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus the Christ. Who is he? For they did not know what it was. And there you go, Mahu, what that white flaky substance was. And so now there's a total different take on this passage because now it's talking about the pre-incarnate visitation of the second person of the Trinity, visiting the people and saying, "Here, this is what you're going to eat," and they're saying, "Who is he, and what is it?" So this is crazy stuff that you're not going to find. And I looked at all of my commentaries and looked at my lexicons, and they couldn't even help me with the word "man," which is again 4478 in the Strongs. And so, like I said, sometimes the resources do not do justice to the passage because because it doesn't make sense, you know.
Yeah.
So think about that. The sons of Israel saw the pre-incarnate Christ. They're saying, "Who is he? And what is this stuff that he brought that's on the ground?"
And this is just to give corroboration to what it is you're talking about. What did Yeshua said? "I am the bread that came down from heaven."
Yes.
He said this is why he was connecting anytime. This is why Hebrew, I say, is like a banyan tree. It is an interconnected set of trunks of a tree where you can't pull on one without grabbing a hold of the other. There's thousands and hundreds of thousands of interconnected, absolutely pertinent pieces of information that make up the tapestry of the word. All these individual threads are built from these 22 letters. Each of those letters is in and of itself a message and it's a communication tool that tells you the testimony of from the beginning to the end, the Aleph and the Tav. Yeshua said, "I am the Aleph and the Tav. I am the beginning and the end." He says he is the Word who was there with Elohim before all of creation. He is the lamb slain before the foundation of the world. Like he is saying he is the literally all of the substance of creation holds together at his word. So that means Yeshua literally is the word. So when we study the word, we're literally studying the Messiah. We are studying his nature. We're studying that white fleshy, this white soft substance. You're like, what is it? And that's such a lacking phrase. I'm just so thankful that you brought that out because as soon as you read that, I thought of 1 Corinthians 10. And it said, "Now I would not have you be ignorant, brothers." What's he saying there? Don't be ignorant. Ignorance is totally the tool of the kingdom of darkness. It's this unbelievable scheme. He says, "Do not be ignorant of the schemes of the devil." What Noble is pointing out here is there are schemes of the devil in translations that keep people ignorant. That's critical piece of this entire puzzle. And we stay in that ignorance. As long as we stay there and we rely on everyone else to tell us what this says, we're going to fall prey to the potentiality of being manipulated.
Exactly.
This passage in 1 Corinthians 10, it says, "I would have you not be ignorant, brothers, that our fathers were all under the cloud. This is the great cloud by day and the fire by night. And all passed through the sea, and all were immersed into Moshe in the cloud and in the sea. And all ate the same spiritual food, and all drank the same spiritual drink, for they drank of a spiritual rock that followed them, and the rock was Messiah. However, with most of them, Elohim was not pleased, for they were overthrown in the wilderness. Now these things were our examples, to the intent we should not lust after evil things as they also lusted. Neither be idolaters as some of them were." This is literally the corroboration to what he is talking about right here. He's literally saying the Messiah was the one who was there. He was the angel of the presence that came and guarded them. The cloud by day was his protection, the fire by night. This is literally the embodiment of the Messiah who would sit down on the mercy seat and speak to them. The word of Elohim would come to them. All of this is so interconnected. And I'm so glad you said that because I've never heard anybody else even mention that.
You know, it's eye-opening when sometimes you come across these golden nuggets, you know, and it just tells me that even the sources we have, like even the Masoretic text, for example, most of the Old Testament that in our English Bibles are based upon the Masoretic text. Unfortunately, the Masoretic text even has its share of problems as well because it's a rabbinical text.
Yes.